Welcome back to this News Channel 5 special, a Cuyahoga County Executive Forum. We continue our question and answer session with 8 candidates running for the county executive position. And we continue with question number 3, and that is to Mr. Dolan. How will you handle the retention and reassignment of county employees, specifically the key offices of county auditor, treasurer, and sheriff?
Well, as everyone should know, those positions, the elected positions, have gone away, but the statutory mandates coming from Columbus are still there. And the charter put in specific requirements, which is unique to Cuyahoga County, because there are no other requirements if you run elected. So what I'm going to do is make sure that we have all those folks who are qualified in terms of managing money, financing both. I would like a little public and private sector experience in terms of handling dollars. And we also want to make sure that we have a diverse cabinet. Because I want to make sure that not only do we have the best and the brightest, but we have the best and the brightest who actually reflect Cuyahoga County and understand the needs of our citizens. And this will be appointments that I will make that will be with the consent of an 11-person council who have been elected through the county-wide. So it will be the strongest statement that we can say that we are no longer dealing with public servants who are lining their own pockets. We have qualified people serving the public.
Mr. Ellison, how would you handle the retention and reassignment of county employees, specifically the key offices of county auditor, treasurer, and sheriff?
I'm taking applications and recommendations for those positions on my website. So if anyone feels that they are right for the job, or if they know somebody who I should consider for the appointment to those positions, please contact me. I believe that the people in county government, many of them are doing an excellent job. I think that we need to review all of their performance and make sure that they are doing a good job and replace them if they're not. But when I look for appointees, I'll be looking for the most qualified people that I can find. And I think that that's the way that we'll restructure and reform Cuyahoga County, is by choosing the people who are qualified to do the jobs and the people who are working for those people who I appoint. So.
Mr. Fitzgerald, how would you handle retention and reassignment of county employees, specifically those key offices of county auditor, treasurer, and sheriff?
Well, I think when it comes to the auditor's office in particular, I think Mr. Russo is going to be reassigned in other ways, but he doesn't meet the statutory qualifications anyway of being an auditor. The other positions, my approach is going to be the same way that it was when I took over as mayor of my city. It's an open process. We want the very best, and not just the very best in terms of education and ability, but also integrity. It's important to know what the county executive can do personally, and also what their team has to do. And you have to make sure that we put together a team that's diverse, that is representative of both the public sector and the best in the public sector and the private sector, and also that they share my commitment to having an open, honest, and integrity-driven system, because they have to then drive those values down into the frontline workers. That would be my priority in this particular area.
Ms. Hamilton Brown, how would you handle the retention and reassignment of county employees, specifically those key offices of county auditor, treasurer, and sheriff?
Well, first we will look to make sure we have qualified candidates for all of those offices. Certainly looking at people who are there, I believe there are good people remaining in these offices, but all will need leaders who have had the experience as well as the qualifications. And when we look at experience, I believe it's important to bring on people on the team who've led change through large organizations, that they're able to work with employees and bringing out performance management, setting goals, and leading change. I can't say that enough. This really is about reforming and delivering new services.
Mr. Lancer, you get the same question, of course. How would you handle retention and reassignment of county employees, specifically the key offices of county auditor, treasurer, and sheriff?
Well, having done this a number of times over the last 25 years, where I've actually taken companies, put in management teams to operate, I have a large stable of professionals that I will look to interview, okay, and look for people that will follow my lead. I'm going to work for $1 a year. I'm giving all the money back to the county. That's over $1 million over the 4 years in pension and salary. And I'm going to look for professionals to come in to work for more of a stipend by comparison to what they would get in their public jobs. So yeah, I really feel that I could get the proper team, because I've done this for such a long time. In visiting the departments, I know that there are the ones, the auditor's office, recorder's office, there are some changes that definitely have to be made, and personnel headcount will be made as well.
Mr. McCormick, how would you handle retention and reassignment of county employees, specifically those key offices of county auditor, treasurer, and sheriff?
I've got some pretty strong feelings about county auditor and treasurer offices to start with. I was the county auditor during the period when Gateway was built. And I said at the time, based on study, the Gateway was only half paid for, that the rest of it wasn't spoken to, and everyone wanted that to be quiet. The same thing is true with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where that is on the county ledger. If that doesn't make money, the county is responsible for it. The Ameritrust building, any number of projects, you have to have a very strong fiscal officer reporting to this new council and to the new executive, able to tell the truth about bad news and not be in trouble. So the sheriff then, to finish off your question, the strongest professional law enforcement officer we can find to lead the county.
Mr. Scipione, how would you handle the retention and reassignment of a county employee, specifically those key offices of county treasurer, auditor, and sheriff?
There's a transition process going on right now, and I will wait till that transition process is completed. There are 1,000 volunteers who are working diligently, looking at all offices, and especially those three. When that transition work is done, and when the election is over, is the time to start looking at who you're going to put in what positions. And an auditor candidate could be Tim McCormick. But
that concludes your answer.
It.
Okay. Mr. Voinovich, let me ask you, how would you handle the retention and reassignment of county employees, specifically the key offices of county auditor, treasurer, and sheriff?
Leon, you've mentioned two important things that are on the minds of the people of this county. You've mentioned safety, and you've mentioned money, because money and treasury is what those two of the three jobs is about. In our 2020 vision for this county, we are going to sell that vision to the people that we're going to hire. We are going to show people that this is the best place for them to work, because they're going to be starting with an organization that's at the bottom, and they're going to rise with it. People that come with us are going to have aspiration to be a part of the improvement and turnaround of this government. This is going to be something people are going to want on their resume. And I can assure you that we're going to look for the brightest and the best people, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, black, white, Indian, Asian, whatever you are. If you can do the job and you care about people and you're passionate, and when that phone rings and you're there to serve them, you can work for us, because that's the way our government's going to operate.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've gone through 3 questions.